So sometimes we get asked the question, why is your price so high? And the answer is it really depends on what we're being compared to. A couple weeks ago, we had a client who said our price was high. They got upset, they got on the phone, the manager got involved. And when we spoke with them, we found out that they were comparing us to a cousin of theirs who does side work but is currently employed, so can't come out and do the work. Unfortunately, we can't compete with that person. And also, and this isn't taking a shot on that person, but there's also risks in doing that. If you're having someone come out for a plumbing or HVAC or electrical job, it's important to ask if they have the right insurance for the job. That's something that we are constantly on top of here at Akean, to make sure that if, God forbid, something happens in your home, that everyone's covered. Not taking shots at handymen, but I remember one time early on when it was just me, Manny, and my brother that was running the company. We had a client that called us out, and they had a few income properties in Boston. And they were a really nice couple that graduated college, they came into some money, and they were using this money to buy income properties. And so they had a handyman install garbage disposals for them at about a dozen different units, okay? So about 12 different apartments that they had throughout the city and the area. They were starting to leak, and they had a couple that were having issues. And so they called us out and they wanted a price to replace the disposal. Now, when we got there, to the untrained eye, everything looked fine. But upon closer inspection, the handyman had super glued the garbage disposal underneath the sink, likely because he didn't know how to properly install it or use the right gaskets. When that happened, they had us go look at another unit where they had the same exact thing occur. And this was actually a big issue because they didn't have a drop-in sink that you could simply disconnect the plumbing underneath and remove. They had a sink that was undermounted and formed into the countertop. It was causing actually quite an issue with this situation here. And that's why it's important to just make sure you're doing your homework. I know that it can be very attractive to go with the cheaper price, but sometimes you have to really think of what is this cheap upfront price going to cost me over the life cycle of this unit.